don't know me, my name is Libby and I like to talk about books. I love reading. Reading is one of my biggest hobbies and I really love sharing my thoughts on books that I've read. We've just come to the end of September and I thought that I would share with you the books that I read in September. I'm going to talk about some books that I've read recently and some books that I've recently started. So the first book that I read recently is called The Survivors by Jane Harper. I will read the blurb and then I will talk about it. Kieran Elliott's life changed forever on a single day when a reckless mistake led to devastating consequences. The guilt that haunts him still resurfaces during a visit with his young family to a small coastal town he once called home. Kieran's parents are struggling in a community which is bound, for better or worse, to the sea that is both a lifeline and a threat. Between them all is his absent brother Finn. When a body is discovered on the beach, long-held secrets threaten to emerge in the murder investigation that follows. A sunken wreck, a missing girl, and questions that have never washed away. I had really high hopes for this book. It sounded really good. I also love the cover. I love the design. And I know we all say we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I feel like we all do. I also loved the title, The Survivors, like that really drew me in. I enjoyed the premise of the book, but I just felt like it didn't live up to what I was hoping. It was incredibly slow paced. I kept feeling like, when is this story gonna start? When are we gonna get some meat and some juiciness to this story? And I feel like it kind of never came. The twist at the end I felt was very rushed. So we had like a really slow paced book and then the last few chapters were so rushed and so much was put into them. I just felt like it didn't work. I felt like it needed more. I thought the characters were a little bit boring and I felt like there wasn't much information about them either. We had a lot of information about Kira and he's the one that tells the story, but I just felt like I wanted more depth to the characters. I didn't feel bad for any of them. I didn't really feel anything towards the characters, and I feel like if more time had been taken to develop them, I feel like maybe that would have been different. But I think I gave it 2 or 3 stars. I'm not 100% sure. I will double check and pop it up on the screen. The second book that I read is Weirdo, and I will read the back for you. Deep in Essex and her own thoughts, Sophie has a feeling that something is going to happen, and then it does. Chris has entered the pub and re-entered her life, just as she's finally stopped thinking about him. Now Sophie has a chance to create a happier ending and paying off her emotional debts, if not her financial ones. All she has to do is act exactly like a normal person and not say any of her inner monologue out loud. If she can suppress her light paranoia and pathological lying, maybe she'll end up getting the guy she wants. Again, I had very high hopes for this book and I was just really disappointed. I thought it was going to be a lot different to what it was. It was definitely a weird book, as the title would have you believe, but I was just expecting something different from the blurb. I found like the book didn't really give much. I found like there wasn't really much to it, and I was left at the end wondering what the point of the book was. I didn't feel like there was a message, and I know not every book needs to have a message or have some sort of drama or bring something, but I just found myself thinking, why did I read that? And that I had just wasted my time a bit. The main character is very chaotic. Her inner monologue is very interesting. She talks about a lot of things that I feel a lot of people would be ashamed to admit, and I really liked that aspect of it. I thought the pacing was really nice as well. I did like the main character. She had a lot of faults, but I did like her. There are sections in the book that kind of just don't really go anywhere. For example, there's a whole side story about her debt, and I feel like that didn't really get explored very much. Things that I feel like could have been explored more and they weren't. So I think I gave this one 2 stars. Again, I will double check and put it on the screen. Most recently, I finished reading My Year of Rest and Relaxation. This one I really enjoyed. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. but I really enjoyed this one, so I will read the back. Young, thin, pretty, a recent Columbia graduate, an apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan paid for by her inheritance. Our narrator has many of the advantages of life, but there is a vacuum at the heart of things, and it isn't just the loss of her parents or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her, or the sadomasochistic, I have dyslexia, I can't pronounce things very well, relationship with her best friend. In the year 2000, in the world's greatest city, a glitter with wealth and possibility, what could be so terribly wrong? I loved this book. I felt like it was a great exploration of depression and how depression can affect people. She gets addicted to prescription medication and she abuses them to help her sleep. I have done the same thing. I used to abuse medication prescribed to me, and I would take more than I was supposed to help me sleep for days. So I related a lot to this book. I could really understand the desperation of needing to just be asleep to escape your mind. So I really related to a lot of what she talked about. Most of the characters in this book are really unlikable, but I loved that aspect of it. I didn't particularly like any of them. Found the ending a little disappointing. I wanted something better, something more. I feel like that's a common theme with a lot of the books I've read lately, is that I've just been left wanting a bit more. I haven't felt like I've fully gotten what I was hoping. I gave this one 4 stars. I did really enjoy it, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be 4 stars, but I do think that it needed a bit more. Another book that I recently read was called Bad Fruit. So this is the cover, this is the blurb. Lily is a good daughter. Every evening she pours Mama a glass of perfectly spoiled orange juice. She arranges the teddy bears on Mama's quilt. She puts on her matching pink clothes. Anything to help put out the fire of Mama's rage. Mama is a good liar, but Mama is becoming unpredictable, dangerous. And as she starts to unravel, so do the memories that Lily has kept locked away for so long. She only wanted to be good, to help piece Mama back together. But as home truths creep out of the shadows, Lily must recast everything. What if her house isn't a home but a prison? What if Mama isn't a protector but a monster? Bad Fruit was such an amazing book. It's very heavy on abuse and generational trauma and violence, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliantly written. I was captivated from the moment I opened the first page. I loved the main character. I loved the dynamics between all of the family members. I found it to be a really interesting read about how you can be victim and perpetrator, and how sometimes victims of abuse will go on to then further abuse other people, and how like the people then that are abused by them try and put an end to it and try and stop that generational cycle of abuse. I loved the book. I loved the ending. I thought it was very well written, but please just check out the trigger warnings before you read the book, because there are quite a lot of them. So 2 books that I'm reading in October are Half a World Away and A Court of Thorns and Roses. I actually started this one in August, but I've been reading so many books, I just haven't gotten around to finishing this one. I am currently on page 123. I'm really enjoying it. I love the characters, I love the dynamics, I love the writing style. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. And then I'm reading Half a World Away. Mike Gale is such an incredible author. If you haven't read his books, please do. I can't believe I haven't read this one. I feel like this is the one that most people start with when they get into Mike Gale. His writing style is gorgeous. I absolutely adore it. And I just find that he puts so much passion and so much emotion into his books, and they're such feel-good books that tend to also have sad parts, but they tug at your heartstrings and they make you feel things in a safe way, and I love that. And I am on page 64. I am also currently reading How Hard Can Love Be by Holly Bourne, and I am reading Luster I can't remember the author. And then I'm reading a couple of others, but they're not like top of my priority right now. That is my little update of September and October books. I would love to know what books you read in September and what books you're planning to read in October. I'm hoping to film one of these every month, so I will see you in October to talk about my October reads and what I plan to read in November. I hope you are all having a good day, and I hope that you have a good week, and I will see you soon. Bye!